Hassan ibn Ali narrates, "My father and I were making tawaf of the Kaaba one pitch-black silent night, when suddenly we heard a man supplicating to Allah. His voice was filled with sadness, and he recited the following couplets. O being who accepts the dua of a destitute in the darkness, O being who removes the distress and trial of sickness, your guests sleep and awake around the Kaaba, while your eyes do not sleep. O one who is always in existence, through your generosity forgive my crime. O being to whom the creation turns to in the haram, if your forgiveness does not reach the one immersed in sin, then who else can show kindness to the sinners?" My father turned to me and said, "My son, do you hear the voice of a man who is lamenting over his sins? Find him and bring him to me if you can." I left in search of him and eventually found him at the Maqam Ibrahim performing Salah. I said to him, "The cousin of Prophet peace be upon him has requested to see you." He shortened his remaining prayers and then accompanied me. When I presented him to my father, he asked, "Where are you from?" He replied, "I am an Arab." My father then asked, What is your name?" He answered, "Munazil ibn Lahiq." My father inquired, "What has happened to you? Why were you supplicating like this?" He replied, "What can I relate of a man whose sins and wrongs have exposed him to the extent that he is now drowning in a sea of evil?" My father requested him to share his story with us, and he agreed. He explained, "I was a young man who was steeped in a life of futility and entertainment. My father would constantly advise me to abstain from the sins and frivolity of youth. He would remind me of Allah's power and his punishment of those who oppress themselves. Each time he advised me, I would strike him. One day I was so angry by his admonition that I struck him severely. In response, he took an oath to proceed to the house of Allah, cling to the cloth of the Kaaba, and make a dua against me. He did exactly that and prayed, "O that being to whom the Hujjaj come, traversing desert lands from far and near. I have come to you, O being who does not reject those who ask and supplicate to him, who is the one, the independent. This is the place of acceptance. So take what is due to me from my son, and cause half of his body to be paralyzed. By Allah, as soon as my father completed his supplication, half of my body became paralyzed. I realized my sin and begged and pleaded with him to forgive me. He finally agreed and said that he would do so at the very place he had made dua against me. He set out on a camel and I followed close by. When we arrived at Al-Arak, a bird flew off from a nearby tree, frightening the camel. The camel ran off, throwing my father onto the rocky ground. His head was severely injured and he passed away. I buried him and continued on the journey in a state of sadness.